Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch something that I think a lot of people struggle with, is staying positive during these times. That's one of the reasons why I come out and enjoy these walks in the woods, because it's a chance to kind of turn it all off and realize the beauty around us. And just because you're not looking at this beauty doesn't mean that there's not beauty around you. As we continue through this period of our lives where things are just kind of getting worse, we talk about it on here. We listen to it on other channels and other news sources about how the world is just becoming a more wicked place. Everything seems to just be collapsing. We constantly are worried about our loved ones that aren't ready. They're not physically prepared. They're not spiritually prepared. They're not emotionally prepared. They're just living their lives because, they're in the machine, and they're going out there every day, just grinding away, doing what they think they have to do to just eke out an existence. And you and I, we understand and we see that the world kind of differently. We see how things are trending and how the path ahead seems to be very bleak, very dark, very rough. And so it's easy for many of us to just get down and depressed, or and maybe not even depressed. Maybe that's too harsh of a word for some of you, but it's tough, right? Well, the first thing that a person really should do, I know, I get preachy every once in a while, and then others say I get too preachy or not enough, or I don't know, I can't please everybody, so that's why I just don't try. But need to get your heart right. Get in the Bible. Many of you know what I'm talking about. Build that relationship that you should have with our Heavenly Father and His Son, our Savior. Get that situation nailed down as best as possible. That's going to be the first thing that you do, because like in the Psalm from David, he's going to be there to kind of carry you through when you're in that valley of the shadow of death. That's what he's there for. Other than that, that's the spiritual, and of course that's the most important. But we also have to realize that this is just the way things were meant to be. They have to be this way. When we take account for how this world has gone really downhill in the last several decades, whether it's monetary policy and global politics, and how just humanity itself has become so much more self-absorbed. When you start to view things that way, I think an average person that really understands things, maybe I'm unique, but I don't think so, starts to realize that the path that we're headed down right now, we have to do it. We have to go down this path. There's no other way for our civilization, for our existence to go, to kind of keep us from absolute complete destruction. We can't keep becoming more of a godless people. We can't just keep becoming more of a wicked, immoral, self-absorbed people and expect that our society just is going to get better. So, it's a cyclical. Societies, cultures do this throughout history. They become more advanced, more technologically advanced. They become more socially advanced, all this kind of stuff. And then they become weak and they become self-absorbed and they think that they are the ones in power and that they are gods and all this kind of stuff. And then, of course, they collapse because they don't realize that the insignificance of who we are, and that if we don't put our faith and our trust in God the Father and His Son, then, what's the point of all this? And so there is a cycle that's happening, and instead of worrying about it, instead of constantly, praying for it to not happen, we should just embrace it, embrace the suck, embrace what's happening, because it really has to happen. It really does. I truly believe that. When you pause, like I said, and just look at what's going on around us, how in the world does anyone think it's going to get fixed? I mean, do you think just electing one guy in the presidency is going to fix it? Well, that's not going to fix the rest of the world. And do you really think that one guy, no matter how great he is, has the capability of fixing this? And we've had some pretty decent people in the office of presidency, and things just continue to get worse. It's not about one man or one political party or one action by people. When a society gets this bad, it kind of has to be, sterilized and cleaned out. And I don't mean that in a way of killing all the people and all that. I'm just saying that it really kind of needs a reset. And throughout all this, I talk about the World Economic Forum Great Reset a lot. And it's not that I think the idea is wrong. It's that the path that they're trying to control is wrong. We do need a reset as a people. It needs to happen. We need a reset to kind of clear the stage, because once again, a civilization has risen up, and while doing a lot of good things, became so self-absorbed and believed that all the good things they did was because of their greatness, and they went down a path of narcissistic, godless, worldly lust, and then that's where we're at today. So when we're thinking about all the stuff that's going on and how bad it is and getting down about it, maybe try to see it from a perspective that it actually is a good thing. I mean, it's not a good thing that people suffer and that maybe people die and that people will go through hardships and things. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes there's just no other way to turn things around. I use the analogy often. It's like remodeling a house. There's a certain point that a house is just too far deteriorated to repair it. You go in and, well, it may need new floors and new walls and new roof, but at some point, the destruction or the termites or the rot or whatever it is has taken over too much, and it's just not feasible to rebuild it, to make it new, to make it better. And you have to tear it down. You have to tear it down and start all over. There's an old abandoned building a few miles from us, probably well over 100 years old. And I mean, most of the roof and the walls are gone. It's just no telling. It's probably been sitting there empty for 50 plus years. My wife often says, "Oh, I wish we had that. Wouldn't that be cool to restore that?" And I say, "Yeah, but I'm sure it'd be much cheaper and easier to just tear it down and build something new, because that building is far, far gone." I'm sure there's all kinds of character and stories behind it, but it would just be too much work to restore that building. And I think that's where we are at as a society now. I don't think it's rebuildable. And maybe I'm just too cynical, but that's just kind of how I look at it. And that's why I don't spend too much time worrying and fretting and sad and down. I have loved ones out there in the world that haven't accepted what's going on, that they're not preparing, that they haven't even, accepted God's truth. And I pray for them and I worry for them. But what's happening, I think it must happen. And because of that, I know that we're in a place that we're meant to be for such a time as this. If you believe that each one of us, that God knows each one of us before we're born, and that we're placed here on this earth with a specific intent, then you have to believe that you and I were born and placed here on this earth for such a time as this. And we need to find what that time is. Maybe through our preparations, through our understanding of what's going on, we're able to lead others. We're able to be that, light on a hillside that's shining His light into the world. Either way, I don't think that it's worth our time to constantly be in anguish and worry about what's going on. I mean, certainly I know that there's a lot of you that are not in the place that you want to be. You don't have the level of preparations that you want. Maybe you're not in the place you want to live. You want to have a homestead. You want to be out of the city, out of that apartment. You want to have a better income so that you can have better preparations. Maybe you want a community. You want to be around other like-minded people. I get that. I get that because I've been at every one of those places at some point in my past. So I understand what that's like. But we have to realize that we're in a place right now because it's where we're supposed to be. And over the past couple of years, I've gotten to know people and been part of individuals, probably a lot like some of you, that thought that there was no chance of them, finding others, building some kind of community. And then it starts to happen. And a lot of these people that are kind of leading it, they're not what you would consider your typical leaders, They're not a type of person that wants to be out front of people and leading people and running meetings or anything like that. But it just kind of fell upon them. They're doing a good job. It's because they were born for such a time as this. So when you're thinking about all of this stuff and it starts to get to you and it starts to overwhelm you, because it can do that. It can do that to the best of us, to the most seasoned of us. Remember that this is the way that things are meant to be. They have to be this way. They really do. To cleanse and to purge the sinfulness in this world. And I believe that we're on a path that's been designed for us. I mean, if you go to the Bible and read in it, it talks about what I believe are the days that we're living in, these kind of days of birthing pangs and wickedness. It's leading up to a point. And we have to have faith and trust that we will be taken care of because of our faithfulness, because of the due diligence that we have done to get ourselves ready and to ready the people around us. And there's a promise there that He won't forget us, that He won't forsake us. And so when you're doing your preparations, when you're working on your skills, when you're absorbing more knowledge about whatever you're doing when it comes to getting yourself ready, remember that. Remember that, you have a purpose, you have a reason for being here right now. And maybe it's being a little miniature Noah in the ark. It's possible. Maybe it's be that lighthouse on a hillside for others. maybe it's just to be one of the few to be able to witness the full glory of God in these times that we're living in. Whatever it is, don't lose hope. Don't allow that confusion and that doubt to seep in, because we all know where confusion and doubt come from, and it's not from God. There's good people out there. There are good things happening. And we have to realize that and acknowledge that just because our lives may not be the best right now, for whatever reason it might be, that there's some good things happening in people's lives, and maybe that's what this is for. Maybe this is to wake certain other people up and to get them ready also. The circling of the wagons that I've mentioned before, the calling of the remnant. It's just a way that I look at it. It's a way that I'm able to push through the things that are going on that may be a little disturbing and frightening and worrisome. So don't allow those feelings to take control. It's okay to have them. It's okay to be aware of them, but just don't let them take control of your life. You're the one that needs to be in control of that. Because this is a time period that could actually great things could happen. And we need to always remember that. The amount of people out there that could possibly wake up and see the truth because of all of this, I think would be well worth it, for me and some of you to go through some rough times so that others can see and hear. It's time to get ready, folks. Go over and watch a video I posted late last night. Internet wasn't working good, so it took hours to upload. But a good buddy of mine and we sat down, we talked for about a half hour about a lot of different stuff. It's a very good video. Go over there and check it out. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.